Hey guys, how's it going? Rob here. I really enjoy it when I get these little known brands in, and this is a fine example. It's by a brand called Fulgur. They're Italian, and I'd never heard of them until really recently. I'm just curious as to all different types of e-bikes, what manufacturers do, how they do things differently. But this is completely different to pretty much everything I've ever had in. Now, pretty much everything on here is Italian. The motor by a brand called Polini, 90 newton meters of torque. Looks like a pretty compact little unit. Really looking forward to trying it properly. I've had a little go, very little go. First signs seem pretty decent. Wheels, handmade Italian wheels. The fork and the shock is by EXT. Now, I've used this shock before and it is a premium, outstanding performing coil shock. Now, this has got the brand new EXT E-Storia shock, specifically made for e-bikes, and the V2 era fork, which has only come out within the last couple of months. So this is bang up to date with the suspension technology. It's running a mullet configuration, mixed wheel size, so 29 at the front, 27.5 out the back. And check out the weight, just over 22 kilos. In size large, set up tubeless. That's pretty decent actually. It's one of the lightest full powered bikes on the market. Now, first off, I should touch on the battery system and how it works, because it's a little bit different and it's actually quite a cool concept. So the total battery in this bike right now is a 630 watt hour total capacity. Now that is made of two batteries. It's got this modular battery concept, which is pretty cool. The main battery, the main one that you see in the frame, is a 500 watt hour battery. And then there's a small range extender that actually goes in the frame. It's actually tucked slightly further up in the top of the frame where there is a bit more space. And you don't have to run it with both batteries in. You can run it with a smaller battery, or you can run it with both battery packs. From what I hear from the guys at Berkshire Cycles, it's not quite a plug and play system. You do have to, I believe, drop the motor to get that battery unit out, but it is possible to run it with a 500 watt hour pack, which would be even lighter. Now you may think, why would you bother running it without that range extender pack in there? Well, the bike actually is competitively racing in the EWS-E, and it's done pretty well so far. Now, if you look at the most winning bikes within the EWS-E race series, Nico Vulio is on a Lapierre with a 500 watt hour battery. And actually, if that's enough to complete the race and save in the weight, then surely that's a good thing. But you've got options. You can run it with a 500 or you can run it with a 630. Now, I have heard that they may be, this is not confirmed, but they may be bringing out external range extenders to go on it to give you up to 1,000 watt hours. I don't have that confirmed. I'm not 100% sure. In the next video I do, I'll try and give you a definite yes or no if that's coming. It's just a rumor I've heard, but I'm not sure. So let's go through the bike in a little bit more detail. Now, I will be bringing out a full video on this soon. If you want to be the first to see that, make sure you're subscribed. Okay, so we've got a 160mm travel electric mountain bike. So 160 travel at the rear and an EXT era fork on the front with 160mm travel as well. I've done some measurements on it. It is really slack. Like, it is advertised at being 64-degree head angle. I measured this at just around 63 degrees. So that is a pretty slack enduro bike. I really like slack. I think 63-degree head angle makes it super stable. I actually think a 63 head angle is the sweet spot. It seems to me that all the bikes are getting slacker and slacker. And honestly, to me, it makes them more stable at speed. I'd take a slacker head angle any day of the week. So 63 degrees is sweet. The bottom bracket is mega low, like 320 mil. That's crazy. It's one of the lowest bottom brackets of any e-bike, actually. So I'm curious to find out how it pedals and how it climbs, because a lower bottom bracket means potential pedal strikes, bottoming out, that kind of stuff over rocks and, you know, gnarly terrain. But the plus sides are it's going to be ridiculously stable with that slack head angle and that super low bottom bracket height. Now, another thing is the chainstay is pretty long. It's around 470 mil, and the reach on the bike is not much more than that. So in terms of balance, for me, as a taller rider, I think the balance point on this is going to be perfect. And I've said it before in some of my other videos, I'm not a fan of super short chainstays. I think they ruin stability, especially for taller riders on bigger bikes. So in this size, I'm going to be almost bang central weight-wise when on this bike. So I'm actually really interested in finding out how this bike handles. And I've ridden another bike with a very long chainstay in comparison to the Reach, and it handled really well for me. I really liked it. So right now the bike is in the UK and it's exclusive through the guys at Berkshire Cycles. Now they're renowned in the industry as being experts on electric mountain bikes. So it's cool that they're importing this and bringing it in. And the price is £7,300, and that includes the range extender, the bike ready to roll basically with a bigger battery. Now, what I really love about the bike is, I guess, first of all, it's so different to anything I've ever ridden before. I've never tested this motor from Polini, but it's supposed to be really, really punchy. But what I love about it is Polini are really forward thinking. So with the main motor manufacturers out on the market at the moment, Bros, Bosch, Shimano, Yamaha, I would say they're the big four. If something goes wrong with the motor, pretty much has to go back to the OEM manufacturer of that motor for a warranty swap out. Not with Polini. They are going to supply service parts and kits to end users and dealers. So much like you might service your, I don't know, your suspension, your dropper, those kind of things. If you're a keen mechanic, you might want to give that a go yourself, or you might prefer to take it to your local bike shop and your expert there might be able to do your full service your suspension, all those kind of things. The same thing is going to happen with the motor. They're going to supply kits, service kits, and instructions to end customers like us and bike dealers. So in the event that something goes wrong, cogs get stripped, bearings need replacing, Polini are cool with the end user or the dealer fixing that, which I think is brilliant. It's really forward thinking, and it would give me confidence in buying a bike like this, because one of the biggest questions I get at the moment is, how's that motor? What do you think of that? Is it reliable? And I think the reason for that is that when you buy a bike, when you buy an e-bike, you're stuck with the motor. Everything else you can change, right? You can change forks, drivetrain, tires, wheels, suspension, everything. But you can't change a motor system. It's fixed in the bike, right? You're stuck with it. So a lot of people are really concerned about the longevity of motors and how long they'll last and what will happen if it's out of warranty. Is it just ready for the skip, or can you get it fixed? And there are small independent agents out there like Performance Line Bearings that can fix motors, but they're not available all over the world. They're based in the UK. So for Polini to be saying, look, we stand by a product, but we're going to sort you out with service kits, massive thumbs up. And I really hope that spurs on some of the other manufacturers to think we should be doing something similar, because we're paying a lot of money for these bikes, and it sucks when you have to be off the road for days, weeks, months in some cases, because you need your motor sent back to the manufacturer and it just takes forever. So pretty much everything on here is Italian. So the wheel set, the motor, the frame, it's got this real Italian flair to it. So the suspension looks like first class, the machining on it, the production quality of it, it just looks and feels like an expensive item. Now I've got loads of experience with the EXT coil, both the regular Storia V3 and more recently I've been using the e-bike version on another bike, and it's just absolute quality. They're fantastic performing components. I've never actually used the fork, but from all reports it's a top quality fork. And this is the version 2 of the fork. It's got some refinements made to it. Some of the internals have been changed slightly, but it's supposed to be premium suspension. So I'm expecting a buttery smooth chassis, loads of feedback, loads of performance, loads of grip, and ultimately that's what you want. The rest of the bike is made up of pretty sensible components. So the drivetrain is 11 speed. Brakes are Shimano Dior brakes, which are pretty decent performers. The cockpit does look a little bit cluttered. The controller's a little bit plasticky, and the screen, I don't know, just feels okay. I mean, hopefully it'll serve its purpose and work. It's not the cleanest looking piece of integration at the front. The controller looks fairly clunky. The screen's a little bit big, and the integration on the speed sensor's still got a magnet on the rear wheel. So I wouldn't say it is the most refined and best integrated electrical motor system. But the overriding factor of a motor for me is the outright performance of the motor. So how does it actually perform out on the trails? That is what I'm super curious to find out with this bike. Like, I'm so excited about the bike because everything about it pretty much to me is brand new. And I've already had a message from someone that's ridden the motor and they've said it's incredibly powerful. Oh, a couple of things I should mention about the battery system. The main battery is removable. The internal range extender is pretty much fixed in place. You do need to drop the motor to remove it. And the other thing is it's actually got two chargers, one for the main battery and one for the range extender. They're different amp ratings. They have two different chargers, which may be a little bit of an inconvenience, but I don't know. We'll see what it's like in terms of real ownership. But yeah, there's two chargers that come with the bike for the two separate batteries. Oh, I mentioned the drivetrain, 11 speed. I think that is the sweet spot for e-bikes. When you've got a motor, you don't need these massive dinner plate sized cassettes on. One more thing, when you order the bike, you can actually specify any color. So if you want pink and orange or just black, whatever, you can fully customize it. They will build the bike to your specification. Now they are coming in every month as well into Berkshire Cycles. The first batch has just arrived. It's already sold out, but they're getting bikes every single month. So it's not like you've got to wait a year, 18 months to get a new bike. They're actually being built every month, shipped over to the UK. I'll pop the link down to Berkshire Cycles in the description, so if you're interested, check it out. But definitely subscribe if you want to see the first ride video on this bike coming real soon. And thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll catch you soon.